What's going on, guys? PXCam20 back again with a brand new video. We are here in our Michelin Aston Martin at the Nürburgring GP for the Manufacturer Cup race taking place today. Now, if you guys haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I post daily GT sports videos and other racing videos. If you guys really like the content, please subscribe. And as well, leave a like on the video. It really helps out the channel if you guys leave a like. Now, that's enough promoting myself. Let's jump straight into the race. So, before we even get started on the race, we jump into qualifying, and you can see right here, we're cutting in very, very close before we hit the qualifying lap, and we actually don't make it. We actually do not post up a qualifying lap because we just ran too late and tried to feel safe, and unfortunately, we weren't the only ones that missed qualifying, so we're starting in 18th and not in dead last, but still very, very tragic that happened, and a silly mistake that we played heading into the race. So, now, jumping into turn number 1, we are trying to make a move on the 17th place car as we head into Mercedes Arena. And we try to make a cutback there as he actually gets us in the inside. We try to make another cutback on the inside right here as we head into the left-hander. And we kind of back out of the move there as we try to stay in the slipstream. Heading into the right, that's going to lead us into the long straightaway here. We are able to get kind of a good exit, but we aren't able to do much with that. So we just follow the car ahead of us before we head into Dunlop Curve. And we try to brake as late as we can. We're going to try to pull off the move. He gives us the space there, and we are able to make the position up. So we get the overtake done and moves us up into 17th. So heading into the Audi S's here, we try to make a move on 16th of the Viper as he actually just gets very, very loose, and we're able to make another position up. So 2 positions in the span of half a lap. So not off to a bad start as we're trying to set our sights now on 15th. So the Alpha actually goes a little bit wide as we head into a big curve, and we get him on the straightaway and try to stay on the slipstream of him before we head into the chicane. Heading up down the right-hander, we try to make a move on the inside here. We're going to try to brake as late as we can, brake right after the 100-meter board, and we give him the space right there, but we try to make a cutback as we head into the final turn, and we actually give him a little bump because he covered us well. So weren't able to make up the position there, but we're going to try to get a good exit coming off the final curve, getting onto the front straightaway. He actually comes in very, very bad off the turn, and we're able to make a move on the outside. We're going to be able to, and yes, we are able to make the overtake on the straightaway heading into the first corner, and he actually gives us a little bit of a bump right there, so we're able to make the position up, and we're up to 15th after one lap. So now, jumping into lap number 3, we're heading into the first turn again. You see there's a gaggle of cars ahead of us as we're seeing the Ferrari, and I believe it's the Mercedes ahead of us, fighting for 13th position. The Ferrari actually bumps the Mercedes out wide, and we try to look on the inside, but it was a little too optimistic as the Ferrari actually outdrives himself going into turn number 4, and we're able to try to get onto the outside, but he kind of forces us out wide, so we get right behind him on the slipstream, try to make a move on the inside, and brake as late as we can. We brake very, very late heading to the left-hander, and we're able to make the overtake done up to 14th now, and we get behind the Mercedes ahead of us. We try to get into a slipstream. He actually gets a really bad exit as we head into Dunlop Curve, passing the penalty markers. We try to get onto the inside of him and brake as late as we can heading into Dunlop Curve. He gives us the space, but we're trying to force our way through there as we're just going side by side into Dunlop Curve. We're getting off the exit, and we get better traction in him, so we're able to make up 13th now. So 5 positions in the span of 3 laps, so very, very good start as we are on the softs, and the required tires here were the softs, mediums, and hards. So our strategy here was to stay 4 laps on the softs and then 5 laps on the softs, switch off to the mediums for another 5 laps or 4 laps, and then try to get onto the hards for the very final lap. So because you do not want to stay on the hards during this race because you're just going to lose a ton of time. Doesn't have a lot of grip as we go into turn number 1 and make another overtake. But yeah, you do not want to stay on the hards on this racetrack because you're just going to lose a ton of time, and the 2 softs and the mediums was the best strategy heading into this race. So now, coming off out of Mercedes Arena, we're heading to the left-hander that's going to lead us into the right turn here, and 10th and 11th are actually still fighting with each other. We almost get a corner cut there as we go very, very narrow into that turn, heading into the long straightaway. Brake right before the white line, pin line shows up, and we actually get a little loose coming into the left-hander. We try to stay in the slipstream. We actually get a little too good of a run there as we almost make contact with the Porsche ahead of us, and we get into the slipstream here heading into Dunlop Curve. And we fast forward here as you see still 10th and 11th are still battling with each other heading into the left-hander here, and then onto the straightaway. Coming into the chicane, 10th and 11th are going side by side as we break right before the 100-meter board, and we are unable to get another position done there, as 10th actually goes a little wide coming out of the turn. We both head into the pits here, so it's going to be us and 10th coming to the pits, and we're going to switch from the softs to another pair of softs as we come in for our pit stop here. Let's see what position we come out. We come out in 15th position, so we only lose 3 positions there as we head into turn number 1. But we have the softs, so a lot of the cars ahead of us haven't made the pit stop yet, as they're probably running the mediums or the hards, so they're going to have less grip than us. So we're going to try to make as many positions as we can while we have the better tires here as we come out of Mercedes Arena. We're still behind the Porsche right in front of us, and we're trying to get him on the right side. I think he got onto the medium, so we have a little bit more traction than him as we give him a little bit of a bump heading into the left-hander here. Fast forward here, going into the straightaway as we head into Dunlop curve. We're on the inside of him, but we aren't able to make any positions up as we just stay behind him on the slipstream. 13th goes a little bit wide heading into the RDSs, and we're able to, it actually distracts 14th, so we're able to get a little cut back there heading into the left-hander. We try to make a move on the inside, and we get the overtake done. So now it's the Viper ahead of us. Let's see if we can try to make another overtake. 2 overtakes in the span of 2 corners. We're able to do it. And now we're up to 13th as we head into the straightaway, heading into the chicane. So you see ahead of us, the top 2 guys actually came into the pits, and they're on the softs too, but they stayed an extra lap. As we jump into lap number 6, we're heading into turn number 1, and we have still a gaggle of cars ahead of us. So we're going to try to maneuver our way through these cars as we're trying to catch up to that Aston Martin right there, because he's probably one of the faster cars on this lobby here. So if we could try to follow him and stay in the slipstream, we could probably make up a ton of time on the cars ahead of us. So we're trying to maneuver our way into this as we, you see right there, 10th place actually goes a little deep, actually pushes the 11th place car out of the way. We're able to get the overtake done because of that mistake, but now we're right behind the BMW as we head into RDSs. We're trying to get into the slipstream and then go onto the inside here as we go into the left-hander, pull off the same move we did, I believe, a lap prior, and able to get the overtake done, as now we're up to 10th. So we started in 18th, now up to the top 10, right behind the Aston Martin that we're trying to follow. So looking very, very promising for us as we head into the straightaway that leads us into the chicane. We get into the slipstream of 9th place, and they're both heading side by side as we head into the chicane. Break right after the 100-meter board, and 9th actually breaks very, very late, or very, very early actually, and we get a good run on the exit, and we are able to get another overtake done. But well, I don't know, I think 10th place was trying to get into the pits as he just bumps out 11th, and he just spins him out as he tries to get into the pits. So that happened. So now we're up to 9th, and we're trying to stay behind the Aston Martin as we do catch up to him a little bit further into the lap, heading into the Dunlop curve right here. We're trying to make a move on the inside. He gives us a space there as we try to make a move on the inside, get a little bit of traction, better traction coming out of the turn. And we're heading into the RDSs, and we get the overtake done as he backs up from the move, because the RDSs is more of a single file car lane. So he backs up from the move, and we're able to get that position from him. Now jumping up into lap number 9 here, and we're going to make another pit stop here as we're going to switch from the softs to the mediums now. We sacrifice 7th place as we head into the pits to put on the medium tires there. You see we put on the mediums, complete our pit stop, don't put any fuel, and we come out in 9th. So we still are very, very good on position and on track position there as we head into turn number 1 on the mediums. So the main goal here is just to try to maintain these tires as best as we can heading to the end of the race before lap 14, because on lap 14 we're going to have to switch from these mediums to the hards, and that's going to be the challenging part, trying to keep the cars behind us. Jumping over to lap number 11 here, you see the Ford Mustang ahead of us actually comes out of the pits, and we're trying to see if we can get a little bit of a peak here, but he's a little too far ahead of us, so we're just going to try to follow him as best as we can, as I think he came out on the softs, but we weren't able to manage that. As we jump up into lap 14, nothing really happened in between lap 11 and lap 14, and we're getting pressure from behind us. We actually take a very, very narrow entrance into turn number 1. Luckily we didn't get another corner cut chicane, and another corner cut penalty, sorry about that, as we head into the left-hander here into the right-hander. We're heading into the straightaway that's going to lead us into Dunlop curve, and we hit our braking point there, and we actually get tagged from behind, but we coming out of Dunlop curve a little bit wide, and we see the car ahead of us, which actually spins us, and we get spun again for the second race in a row. So, man, going back to the replay here, is we see the Porsche outbrakes himself and hits us, that's fine right there, but the Porsche tries to make a move on the inside and just goes out wide and just turns us, and you can see right here from the onboard, he goes very, very wide on the exit and just turns us. I don't know if he lost grip or what, but we get turned, and that's basically race over there, as we have only 2 laps left and we're all the way back in 12th. So these mediums are done, and we still have to switch off from the mediums to the hards as we fast forward here into our pit stop. We sacrificed 12. I think 2 cars are behind us as we head into the pit stop here. We switch on to the hards, but no fuel again because we didn't really need fuel. And we are demoted all the way back to 15th, but we still have 2 cars ahead of us, so we could probably come off with a 13th position finish, as the 2 cars ahead of us have older tires than us, as we had just come out of the pits. But we're trying to make a move on the inside here. As you can see, they're just very, very wobbly there. They'd have probably no traction coming into these to the right-hander here. We're trying to get onto the slipstream as we head into Valvoline curve, and we get it right here. So we're just staying behind him, heading into the slipstream as we head into Dunlop curve, heading into the ADSs. We're still behind him on the slipstream. We are very, very close now, as we can try to probably get him on the straightaway that leads us to the chicane. As we head into the right-hander that leads us into the chicane, the 14th actually goes a little bit wide, so we're able to make the overtake there, stay behind 13th, and there's actually a car ahead of us that spins out, so that's 2 positions right there. Are we going to be able to try to make the move into the chicane? We're getting a good slipstream heading into the chicane, and we brake right at the 100-meter board, but we are unable to get close enough to make the pass. As we head into the final turn on the final lap, we brake very, very early to try to secure our position. As we head out of the turn here, going onto the straightaway, we're going to finish in 13th. So very, very disappointing result there, as it was looking very, very promising, as we probably were going to get at least an 8th position or a 9th position there until we got spun out. But I don't know. Tell me what you guys think, if I'm just driving too aggressive or if I'm driving under aggressive, because that's the second time I got spun out. That's actually our second race that we got spun out, second race in a row. So comment down below what you guys think about that. If you guys really enjoyed the video, again, subscribe to the channel. We post daily GT Sports videos here, and leave a like on the video. It really helps out the channel. You guys leave a like, and hope you guys enjoy the video again. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.